these two pictures. And then, or before, at some point, you say, well, you know, what story they illustrate, isn't it going to be really interesting? What Van Gogh saw when he was in the asylum through his window, something like on the left, and what he made of it. Oh, isn't it breathtaking what this man did? And you can understand it in such simple terms and be practicing for the Cambridge first certificate or whatever you want to practice. Talk about having your cake and eating it. And you're practicing all the things you need to practice, aren't you? It's got Klilin, it's got humanity, it's got creativity. And then you say, okay, let's join these fragmented exams, these 5 papers. I don't know, how many are there nowadays? I've lost touch. There used to be 5 in the old days. How many parts are there to the Cambridge exams nowadays? Is it 4 now? Thank you for bringing me up to date. Well, one thing I used to notice was the disconnected nature of the 5 papers, or the 4 parts. And that's the way it had to be to test, after all. But when teachers teach well, they don't disconnect, they connect. And we can connect too. We're already beginning to connect when we say, look, do some research. Now we have the internet. Find out about Starry Night, about this painting. Find out the biography. It's all there. It's almost too easy for them. Okay? Write me some notes. You're A, you're B. Okay? You're going to talk about this. And the original picture and the painting. Okay? So it involves reading and speaking, and they've done a little bit of research as well. So they're practicing this exchange, this interaction. It's good practice for them in a very memorable way. And the two things are connected. The texts and the pictures are connected, which should make it more harmonious and more memorable. You recognize this. We call these transformations, but let's transform the transformations. What's the difference between this and that? Well, the sentences can be exactly the same. And I must have mentioned this many times in talks. It's so simple to say to students, take out these non-existent shadows. Joan doesn't exist. She's long dead if she was ever alive. Nobody cares for poor old Joan. Who cares about Arthur? Who is this Arthur? And as for I, we don't even have a name for I. And it's so simple to say, give me the sentence again and read it out to me. Or do it for homework. Just write them out for homework again. Choose the name of somebody in the class or a famous person. That's the other instruction. And then I can say, ask me. They've chosen my name, and they used to choose Luke. So you can ask me, is this true? Find out more about this situation, about the museum. Luke, it says, was in favor of visiting the museum. Let's bring it to life. Ask me a question. Kieran, ask me about this first one. Which, well, it's the Hadjikyriakos Gika Museum on Creosoto. Has anybody been? It's a fantastic museum. I really recommend it. I keep sending out pictures from it. Have you been yet? No, but it's a fantastic museum. So suddenly this shape of grammar and vocabulary, this lexicogrammar, has come to life. Because you can check with me. I've got Lilika here. Lilika, which meeting are you talking about? Have you had an important meeting recently that you wanted to cancel?
Yes.
Which meeting was it?
TESOL Greece.
Yes.
TESOL Greece meeting.
I could press her a little bit more, but the point is she can play it, she can role play, it doesn't matter, it could be paramythia, she could just make it up. But the important thing is they are real people. Vicky, do you play the piano? You used to play the piano. Do you think you're going to be a great concert pianist one day? She doesn't, she's very modest. So there you go, you see the difference? Now what's this? Look at this carefully. Do you recognize any of the sentences? Which sentence do you recognize? Well, if you look here, what I've said to the students is write a composition. Because you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to learn to write compositions or essays, whatever you call them. And what you have to do is, the instruction was, take a sentence from here and bury it in your composition. And then we'll read it together. You can give it to your partner. And they had to spot the use of English sentence that you have incorporated. Can you see it now?
Would be a good idea.
It would be a good idea, you see. So it's come to life, and it's being contextualized, transposed, as David Hume says. It's been put in a different context, and suddenly it may come to life and be memorable. And it gives you a reason for asking them to read each other's work, to spot the sentence. They'll be revising the grammar from the use of English, let's call it, and they will also be reading each other's work. So there is a target reader. It's part of the real world now. It's great. And it's so simple to do. This is taken from the handbook for the exam. It's a model of the kind of things students may have to write. Let's say it's something that we've asked them to write. This is the ideal model. Compare this, which is more memorable, this or this. In my opinion, the best way to travel around will be by bike. Keep reading, keep reading. So what have we done? We've taken these rather functional, useful, but rather dull, necessary texts, write an email, they give you instructions, and we'll do this. Of course we'll do it. But we want to transform it in some way to make it creative, make it memorable, make it worth reading, and connect things which are not normally connected. You wouldn't find the Beatles buried in an email like this. But in teaching, we can do this. We can't do it in the tests. They're going to be the same forever and ever and ever. But when we're preparing students, we can remember what we are like when we are good teachers, when we make connections, when we encourage students to be creative, to have humor. You laugh, you smile. But they would do this. I'm not going to do this. I'll say, find a song, bury it in the composition you're writing for. Okay? And I've got to find which song you've chosen. Or it could be a poem, you see right at the end. You see the poem? Now what are we going to do? So we hope it makes things more memorable. It makes things more engaging. It connects the classroom world with the real world. Anna? 5? None? She says, Anna says I should be wrapping up. So let's wrap up. So then, why this sudden bewilderment, this confusion? How serious the teachers' faces have become? Why is Pierce Hall emptying so rapidly? Everyone going home lost in thought. Because night has fallen and the examiners haven't come. And the email from the examination office says, there are no examiners any longer. Now, what are we going to do in class without examiners? Those exams were a kind of solution. And your turn, you have the last word. What does she say? When all has failed, all the tricks in our little magic box of exam teaching tricks designed to get grade A's and more private lessons and happy parents and to give our students an employable future, it's important. But when all else fails, when all our creative bag of tricks has failed, what can we do? And what? Well, that's the last resort. We could actually do some bloody work. Get on. Thank you very much.